blockchain. And we have this incredible panel of experts. So let's get started by having each panelist introduce themselves and share a bit about their work, the space.
Hey guys, again, my name is Shashank. I'm co-founder and CEO of Gaia. My background, all over, I'm a serial founder, 3 exits myself. I've worked in everything. I worked in politics for the White House way back in the day. I worked in hedge funds. More recently, I found an investment firm that does food and agriculture investing with Chipotle. We do space fund. We have a logistics fund. And then got back into crypto and AI after a spin in it within in 2018. It's good to be here. Good to meet everyone.
Hi, I'm Harrison. Now I'm working for Presto as an institution solution manager. But before that, I was working at investor in security companies, so managed security companies' own equity. So I invested in a lot of different projects, including the blockchain company, but also like electric or other renewable projects. So now I'm moving to the Presto and dealing with that Presto-related institutional business.
Hi guys, my name is Blake. I'm the CEO of IOST. IOST is infrastructure. We started this in 2017, so quite a while ago. So we recently got the rebranding, and so we're listed on most of the exchanges like Binance, etc. So before I joined IOST, I was working in a startup, and that startup was recently IPO'd, and I was one of the startup members for that. That's working for myself.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason. I'm the head of partnership at an agency called TV. So basically, we create go-to-market strategies for projects that want to enter Korea, and also we have a separate investment arm as well. Prior to joining TV, I used to work for a crypto exchange as also head of partnerships. And before that, I used to do a little bit of policy and financial modeling.
Amazing. Thanks, everyone. So, we have a lot of questions, so we can get started with the first one. AI and crypto are often discussed separately. How does each of you define the intersection of AI and blockchain?
So I'll go first. So I think because we're in Korea, I think it's worth mentioning how the Korean mainstream first got introduced to AI. It's actually through one of the programs that Google DeepMind created called AlphaGo. And it was a program that basically played this game called Ado, which is basically Korean chess. And at that time, AlphaGo played the best player in Korea, and everyone thought that the program didn't have the capabilities to defeat a human, but it ended up defeating the #1 player in the world, and everyone was kind of very surprised at that. So I think saying that, and you kind of fast forward to today, you're looking at ChatGPT having onboarded 100 million users in about 2 months, and you're seeing combined market cap of AI-related tokens to about 10 million. So I think we've made a long ways. I think in terms of the intersection, I think it really stems from the innovative nature of both crypto and AI. And I think what's really exciting for me personally is I think crypto and blockchain actually solves what AI is missing today. And I think that's on decentralization and monetization of that. So I think I'm very excited to be on this panel, and I think it makes logical sense for our industry to kind of supplement the overall AI space. So yeah, very excited to speak on the subject.
Yeah, for my perspective, I think the intersection between crypto and AI is more on. I think crypto can improve the benefit of AI at this moment. So, if you think about the ChatGPT, then you never know what's going to happen in that black box. So people really don't know what happened. And if you guys use ChatGPT, then you guys tell that ChatGPT actually lied about you. So whenever I ask them, I need to check whether this information is actually true or not. And I think one benefit that we could get is we could verifiable those data through this technology of blockchain. And I think that's going to improve the loss of transparency of what's the problem of AI at this moment. I think I have many more things to say, but I think it would be better to.
So, I might say that Presto would be the frontier of an intersection of the AI and blockchain in terms of like a traditional way. Like we do trade with the AI and with the blockchain, but after that, introduced that generative AI, all the AI, the perspectives changes. So now generative AI is more like an heavy-weighted infrastructure project. So it should be funded by or blessed by the mega VCs on the silicon buildings. But when there is a blockchain introduced on that, then it means that there's a lot of opportunity to the other people, or more people can get a feet on in that scene too. So it maybe can enhance the quality or quantity of the whole sector. So it is one of the good things that this heavy-weighted infrastructure can be funded by more people, and maybe that the speed of evolution can decrease minus 1.
Yeah, I think this is kind of what Gaia does, obviously. So we think that AI and crypto is the kind of perfect convergence. Crypto has always struggled to find its market fit. It's always been a retail investment play. It's a tool for financial transactions. But in terms of adoption, dApps always seemed a little forced. But if you look at OpenAI now, they've kind of hit, we think they've hit their limit on what kind of expansion they can do, because not everyone wants to give their data. Your governments, your institutions, your enterprises, your individuals, they are not in generative learning models yet. Their data they're keeping to themselves, and that's because their knowledge is too valuable. So how do you unlock that data? You need Web3. You need open source, you need Web3, and whether it's Gaia or another firm, I think you need Web3 to force people to open up and give them the security that there's no other monopolist like a Google or an OpenAI between them and their data. So I see it as an opportunity for the entire Web3 industry, actually, that there will be an actual use case that can only be served by a Web3. So it's pretty exciting, and obviously will lead to actual jumps in value for all Web3, not just the ones in AI, because as those other companies, whether it's your MetaMasks, your MoonPays, your exchanges, as they embrace it, they're also going to jump up.
Awesome, thank you. So thanks for that. And what do you guys think? Like, what does it take to create a truly trustless AI? And what are the risks of centralized AI? Many of you have mentioned ChatGPT and kind of hinted at that, but would love to hear more about the risks that you guys are thinking about regarding the centralized AI, and how can blockchain really help make that AI more transparent and secure and independent?
Yeah, I mean, for me, trustless AI, I think ChatGPT did interesting thing when they trained for years on, scraping off the internet mostly, and then one day they said, all right, good, we're ready. Pay us a lot of money and we'll tell you AI. That obviously led to a lot of fear with everyone. It's like, oh, where's my data going? What do they know? That's when people talked about Terminator and all kinds of crazy, scary stuff because they pretended like they knew everything. Now, so let's go back to trust. You need Web3 to have that trust. You need at Gaia at least, we put inference on chain. You do attribution, validation, and monetization. You get to monetize your knowledge. So that's what should be AI. AI should be, it's all of us. It's individuals, it's institutions, enterprises. We pay each other for our data, we use each other, we give credit where credit is due. That's the scenario in society that we already live in. In the AI world, you're going to have to need that too if you want to have trust.
I agree with that. So let me talk like this. When Facebook introduced and the Web 2 said, that wasn't like a social platform at first, and they consumed a lot of the personal data. But after that, they introduced their advertisements. So we didn't know that it would be used like that, but after that, they didn't pay anything. But the most centric thing that on Web 3 is about ownership. So owners have to pay what they have give them to. So that's what blockchain is beauty. That's what the beauty of the blockchain. So when the ChatGPT comes out, I agree with that. That they don't give even though they are consuming our data or they haven't centralized all the GPUs and they build the infrastructure and they now they're like doing a monopolist. So we have to solve like this, and if they won't solve that, they can go further. So I think that and blockchain with that trust issue that helps to solve the problem. So if that gives if blockchain can give that all the economic incentive to the owners, it will be way much faster evolution can be done on the distance.
I agree with all of you guys, and I just want to add on a bit. So, like what I just said before, so I think black box has a problem, is a huge issue at this moment, and I think DeepSeek, because it's provide all the code as an open source, I think it open up another possibility. But I think compared to blockchain, it has a limit. So think about I think compared to ChatGPT, DeepSeek, since it's open source, it cannot compete each other. But think about the benefit of blockchain, which could incentivize the contributor on this ecosystem, and I think eventually that's gonna change the whole this industry, I believe. And also the blockchain can solve the black box problem. So to be honest, I don't believe that all the data can be recorded on chain, since it's a huge data, but still there is a possibility that we could use in a different way. It could be off-chain with GPU proof or etc. So I believe that's going to be a huge chance for us.
So I think I echo all of you guys' sentiment. I think the problem with centralized AI is obviously there's risk on the bias side, right? We don't really know how these larger companies are using the data, right? So I think where blockchain comes in, and I think where the most value comes from using blockchain is actually going to be on the auditability side. I think at the end of the day, right, the AI industry is also going to be regulated, and there's going to be certain limitations and new regulations that's going to hinder kind of the innovation side of AI. But I think through the use of blockchain, where a regulator can come in and have confidence that the data is verified and the data can be audited, I think that's a big step towards helping AI kind of gain the trust and support from kind of the crypto industry.
Yeah, that's great. And would love to hear from all of you. How can blockchain-based compute networks, so let's say GPU marketplaces or staking mechanisms, how can these networks can help scale to support AI workloads efficiently? So like, what types of incentive designs are you guys, could you guys think about that could make decentralized AI compute more viable? So we'd love to hear about more incentive design of the AI.
So I think personally, and just because I'm not a technical guy, I don't think it's kind of right for me to delve into the technical aspects of how you kind of design the incentive structure. But I think just speaking generally from what I know in this industry is, I think also creating a right incentive on making the participation economically favorable is going to be important. If you look at Ethereum, for example, I think a lot of people are frustrated with the long time price action of Ethereum. But if you actually use Ethereum, for example, you use ETH for leverage restaking, staking, farming, you're going to be making a lot of yield on just holding ETH and using Ethereum, right? So I think what we have to learn from that is we also have to make the participation incentive kind of economically attractive to have meaningful activity on the chains.
For the scaling part, I think GK rollup and MPC could be the one, but I think this is not right timing to mention it in a deeper way. For the incentive side, as I mentioned earlier, so it's related to like compared to SendDev, like it has a lot of opportunities and a lot of possibility. Like I think all the developers and engineers were excited about SendDev. At the same time, like even if they contribute to that ecosystem, it's not going to be direct incentive for them. But what if they're going to do very similar thing on blockchain or crypto? Then it's a different story. And I think that is something that we have strengths on it, and it will actually lead people to participate more into this ecosystem and build more.
Since I started my work as an venture capital investor, so I like to say that scalability means that there should be a lot of variety of tries on the sector. So for that, especially like an AI sector, because this is the heavyweighted, it needs a lot of capital and computing power for GPUs. So we call it heavyweighted, and it is usually a traditional way. It needs blast from the Silicon Valley big cities. But at this point, on the Web3 field, there are a lot of different tries to solve that problem. That, for example, like lending computing powers and then pay back to them, or a lot of like funding opportunity to retail investors that led them to a lot of different projects can involve or trying to solve the different problems on the AI field. So that's the basic needs that one specific sector wanted to have a scalability. So there's a lot of different infra in terms of infra, there's a lot of different factors that needs to have AI. But if it can be backed by a lot of different people and crowd, maybe like a scalability can be more incentivized and work better.
Yeah, I think this question once again is, I think AI and Web3 and crypto solve the problem. It's right now at OpenAI. Once again, I do like OpenAI. I use ChatGPT, but I don't hate them. It's just the problem is it's unsustainable and it's inequitable. It's not equal for everyone. What I mean by that is it's like using a jet engine to go down the street to get your groceries to the store. It's too much compute on the cloud, which makes it very expensive. And the problem is, we're talking to a lot of governments, from the Malaysian government to the Dubai government. A lot of governments want to work with us because they know that they can't get their hands on NVIDIA. They don't have enough energy. It's too costly. So does everyone besides the US not do AI? No. So I think, once again, Web3 has the solution. DeepInX, Aether, Filecoin, they've all been doing decentralized compute for a long time. But the problem they faced, and we've talked to all of them, is they don't have enough users. They don't have enough customers. There's not enough apps. Once again, adoption problem of Web3. So I think we've done a really good job connecting, bringing that supply to them. But once again, when AI Web3 booms, they make money. They have a lot of CapEx and OpEx right now, but I think it's going to solve the solution.
Thanks. I actually have one question to Harrison. So following up on what you mentioned, curious to know, because you have the VC background, seeing a lot of projects, would love to hear if there's any specific company that you think does a great job of scaling that incentive or having that incentive design that's very scalable, you think? Any company that you've seen in the market recently?
On the Web3 side, it's difficult to say because of the problem of methodology. So maybe some projects recently give some huge rewards to their community. So that's that's the beauty of the Web3. But on the actual practical way that they change it, actually limited on our actual life on the retail side. So that's one of the problems. So I cannot say I don't want to say that there's nothing that they did nothing, but and also they give a lot of economical rewards through that. But that's because that's some different part of the Web3 related to the capital liquidity, or how they can exit from the like the CEX or DAX, or how they can be monetized. That's a different mechanism. But on this way, still we need to figure out that problem of the mass adoption. And maybe Gaia, just he said, probably since Press already invested it, so hopefully that the Gaia can be solve this problem.
Thank you. And then for you guys, do you think an open source AI project, like we talked about DeepSeek a lot these days, like DeepSeek is more promising than closed source models like OpenAI's GPT? So how does open access to AI and crypto can promote trust and innovation? But yeah, curious to know, this is like a hot topic, right? DeepSeek versus OpenAI. Anyone?
I think DeepSeek's a really great thing. They prove to the world that it's dumping $150 billion into OpenAI is not the only way. It's not a monopoly. the world will not just sit and watch you have a monopoly, right? So it's good. DeepSeek maybe cheated. They maybe used OpenAI to train their own model. I don't know. Everyone seems to think. But that point is, it's open source. And one of the great things Mark Zuckerberg did is open source Llama. We would have been all having to use OpenAI if he didn't do that. We're very grateful. Gaia promotes Llama 3, number one, but we support DeepSeek the day after it released, right? We support any open source model. Once the LLM is not the main commodity, the conversation becomes how does AI can help individuals and companies. And we think the term agent is going to go forward. That's where we help you build agents. Once the LLMs are open, the open source ones are effective and useful, which they are now, just as effective, if not better, with DeepSeek, then you can start to think about, okay, how can we manipulate it in our own way, right? So the conversation moves to what can we do with it if it's open source?
Yeah, I agree with that. So let me say it like this. We are now on really first stage on a new technology called generative AI. And usually when society gets the new technology or game changer, there should be change in two different ways, quality and quantity. So now generative AI evolved a lot of its quality based on the backed up from the like a top tier PCs. But after that, the DeepSeek comes out and then the open source. So I want to say that when Elon Musk kicked the X and opened their source, and after that, Instagram made a thread with that open source. So it means that the open source can be make some more on a quantity, but those are all the like a mega cap companies. So, but at this time, that the open source the code of the DeepSeek may not be like a direct change on the UC, but based on that and based on the open source culture, that if the generative AI has some more quantity, and then it will give some more positive feedback on the quality too, and then the sector maybe have a more can be easy to move forward to the next steps.
I think, in my opinion, before DeepSeek, I think it was more like a very selected few models were used in the world, basically. But because of DeepSeek, it opened up a new era that everyone can actually participate in the war of AI. That's how I feel. So before that, even if they want to build something and build a good model, they cannot really do it because it could be because of like a engineer, or it could be GPU, it could be money, or it could be like something related to this. But DeepSeek provides proof that like DeepSeek actually provide all the data to everyone, so that like in every country people can use the data to actually fine-tune the model and use it in their own way. So I think in the next coming era, I think it's more like a lightweighted model will be more welcome and more used and more useful. So in my opinion, like compared to centralized and open source model, open source model has a more usability potential.
So I think personally, and I do like what DeepSeek has done. I think I also want to level set and say that the reason why they open source was kind of inevitable because they're basically playing catch up, right? So and to a certain extent, that's what also Google and Meta is doing as well. But I think what open source kind of does to the industry overall, and why I think it still is a net positive, is it kind of expedites the economic feasibility of other companies kind of joining the AI industry in terms of both the innovation and the adoption, right? You know, if you think of how cheap oil kind of really accelerated the industrial revolution, I think it's the same way how open source is contributing to AI. I think right now, a lot of the financial incentives are centered around the infrastructure side, but I think once more adoption happens, I think it's going to translate into a application layer, and I think project like Gaia is going to be a tremendous resource. You know, once we kind of achieve that level. So.
Thanks. Love the Gaia promo here. So I think we can get some creative juice going. So let's say if we successfully built a decentralized AI system or world, how do you think the world will change? So we can think about industries like finance, governance, even like we talked about data ownership, but yeah, how would the world be different with decentralized AI?
It's a really loaded question. I think once we achieve decentralized AI, I do think that data kind of truly becomes a digital asset, and people will be able to monetize data and also have a say in how they're kind of using their data and how they're leveraging data to these, other companies. Because right now, if you look at YouTube, YouTube pays a lot of money to the creators for their content, right? Because content is valuable. And I think data should be used in the same way. I think a lot of the models right now kind of scrape all the data that's out there and don't really know what's happening behind the scenes. But I think once we really achieve decentralization on the AI side, data becomes your digital asset, and I think it will be very valuable.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I just want to add a bit more. So I believe that there's going to be personal data marketplace, I believe, and I think there's going to be less monopoly, and it could be led by personal, like more personal or small type of economy will be extended. Like it could be DAO, it could be very small protocol in some way.
Yeah. So when we think about on the Web2 field, and since I was in kind of equity investor, so we all know that the M7 or who is the superstar of the M7. So we know the Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, and Google Cloud or AWS. All these companies only can be counted with 2 hands, and they already pre-buildable on the data side. But when the future comes that we wanted, there not be only 7 companies. There cannot be only 7 companies can conquer the whole world, or some individual or superstars can have enjoy the whole fruits of the new world. So it might be like that. There's a lot of nowadays, even in the Web3, I told you that even though that there's still problem of the mass adoptions, on the investment side, there's a lot of small community or friend communities on the specific projects or DAOs or investors who invest DAO had a lot of long return on that. So and after that, they're reinvest on their scene or specific sector, make vitalize the whole scene and make the developments of the new techs. So in this way, I think that especially on this generative AI sector, which needs a lot of capitals, but if that huge capital can be backed by a lot of the diverse people of diversifications, that means that there will be not a lot more like this, several individual superstars just conquer the whole world. So I think that more people can enjoy the new world.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I think it's the solution for a more equitable world. That's probably the big emphasis. If you have decentralized AI or data, I should say, digital sovereign identity is how people call it. If you can own your own data, I think you can monetize it better. That means you start to break down the monopolies of the internet. If you think about it, Google, Facebook, they all are built on creative monopolies. They had an idea, they were the first there, which one way or another, and then they were able to monopolize that data and monetize it over and over and over again. If you want a search result, if you want to buy anything, you need their data. If you want to sell on Amazon, you need Amazon's data. We partnered with recently with TikTok Shop and the people behind it. That allows any non-developer to create their own shop and own their own data around it, reach their followers, interact with their followers through the agents that they make. So that's an example of you don't need to go through Google. Your agent can be interact with your consumers directly, right? So there's going to be new ways, and smaller, medium businesses hopefully can flourish because you have to pay someone for their data. So you can earn passive income on who you are. So, like I said, equality is the game. I think.
Thank you. We're almost at time, so I have my one last question. And like Shashank mentioned, at Gaia, we make it very easy for everyone to deploy their own agent. So my question to you guys would be, if you could build your own agent, what would that agent do?
Ooh, I already have agents, obviously, but the one I want to build is my personal trading bot. So we have a partnership with Fitch Ratings. We did a pilot for them, the big ratings agency in the US. That gave me an idea. I want to train an agent to go read all the finance textbooks I read, go read more. I wanted to go read Warren Buffett's book, go read Steve Jobs' book, and then follow Elon Musk and Vitalik and everyone on Twitter. And then I wanted to go make its own agents, sub-agents that it controls. One will look at commodities, one will look at crypto, one will look at all kinds of different stuff, and then I wanted to go trade for me, so I don't have to pay attention to the market. But I think it'll be more efficient than my stupid stockbroker, who I don't need to name. But I think that's, once again, democratizing access. Someone in Africa, someone in the middle of the US, someone in Korea, they can set up a trading agency for themselves to give them the same tools that JP Morgan has, So that's the goal. I would love to do that.
So, as unlike a previous stupid stockbroker, sorry for that. But yeah, for me, almost the same thing, because my biggest hobby is invest and trade. So maybe I need a teacher that sometimes I do good trade, sometimes I do bad trade. So I went to my agents, learns the whole the macro and micros conditions of the markets and the turmoils, and learning that what I've done through. So like a navigation system of the roads, that in this market situation, then you choose that way, but if it's a good choice, so you can do it again. But if in this market you made a bad decision, so you should just shut down your computer, and it's like just as good kind of thing. So maybe that would be I really want like a personalized teacher on the investment side.
I actually love both of you guys' idea, but for me, if I want to make AI agent help improve my life, I think one is once you're into like work, it's really hard to follow what's happening in the world. So I want to know what's going on, and so I actually need to take my time to catch up with all the news in this crypto industry, not only crypto but also in general. So I want to make an AI agent that what's hot and what happened and what's the impact and what's the expected result, something like that. That could be one. And there is another very simple AI agent that I'd like to make is, I think all of you guys are agree on this. Tons of message comes to my DM, and I want to sort out like who's important first, and then I sort out those messages to be ping me again through this AI agent. And you need to answer this like within like let's say 2 hours, 1 hour in a very timely manner, so that I don't miss the top message. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
So I think it's actually interesting because I also use AI for a lot of the macro kind of news scrappings and things like that. A lot of the preliminary research is already utilized AI for. I think one idea that I have, and because we also have a separate investment arm, is actually creating an agent that has a different logic than our firm. So I think what happens a lot of times is we like to work with people that have similar values, similar logic, and things like that, and we kind of get into that reinforcement loop where we're just pinging off the same ideas with basically the same end goal. And I think sometimes it's better for someone to challenge that idea, right? And I think having an agent that kind of does that, and you don't really have to actually interact, person to person level. I think that might be helpful. So that's one idea that I have.
Thanks, guys. I think I want my agent to somehow convince all of your trading agents to send me the earnings. So I think we're at time, and we'd love to see if there's any questions from the audience for the panel. Okay. Anyone? No? All right. Well, I'm sure everyone here is excited about building and thinking, imagining your own agents, and then Gaia can enable that dream. So thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks for the panelists.
Thank you. Thank you guys.